First, motor delay lang. Hindi siya nagsasalita. Hindi rin nakakapaglakad. Ngayon, nasa loob lang siya ng crib. For 6 years na siyang ganun. Nasa crib lang siya.
Yung seizure niya, dati 5 seconds, 10 seconds, tapos naging 30 minutes, naging 1 hour. Kailangan namin tumakbo sa ospital sa ER.
Yung pag-switch namin ng Kepra, dumami yung seizures niya. I think because nag-a-adjust pa siya.
Ngayon, nagtitake na siya ng medicine. First medicine niya is phenobarbital.
Usually steroids, they give me a lot of dose of steroids in each flare-up. Ang tanging treatment na binigay ng doktor sa amin ay chemotherapy dahil inoperable nga ito.
Lalo pa ako mahinang katawan ko, baka isang ano lang sa akin ng chemo, baka mamatay na ako.
Welcome back to Philippines Uncut. I'm your host, Buddy Kunana. Now on this show, we talk about everything in the sun. And tonight is about medical marijuana. Joining us are two folks from the Philippine Cannabis Compassion Society. Still with us is Kimi Del Prado, founder. Joining her is her colleague, member in the executive committee of the Philippine Cannabis Compassion Society, Romeo Ballesteros. Romeo, welcome to Philippines Uncut. Of course, Kimi, welcome back to our second segment. Very nice talk we had on medical marijuana, the first segment. And pleasure to have you, Romeo.
Thank you.
Let's have some introductions first. Tell the audience about yourself.
Right, so I work in an IT company. It's a software company, and I'm a father to an 8-year-old child named Sachi. So we live in Quezon City, and we found out about the condition of my son before he was born.
Now, this is what led you to this advocacy when you were looking for a treatment for your son who has epilepsy.
That's correct, because all the anti-epileptic drugs that was given to us, it's more of a trial and error. So for example, if you have a seizure, if Sachi will have a seizure, they will simply increase the dosage.
Okay.
And then once you hit the maximum and then there's still a seizure, they add another drug. So you now have two, right? And then if it's still not able to stop the seizure, you need to add another drug, right? Right now, Sachi is taking 5 anti-epileptic drugs. All of them has maximum dosages.
Now, before we talk about that, let's talk about first your society, the Philippine Cannabis Compassion Society.
Right.
Tell us a bit about how and when this was formed and what are your major activities, basically.
Okay, we're formerly known as the Philippine Moms for Marijuana. I got in touch with the international organization November of late 2012 and 2013, and I got the page on April 20, which is actually very popular among the marijuana community. When you say 420, it's like the annual. It connotates the annual celebration of freedom for the cannabis community.
Why? Well, I mean, excuse me, but why April 20? What's the significance of April 20?
Well, that's a long topic. That's a different topic. But then, basically, my point is the page was given to me very timely on 420 of 2013. So anyway, that wasn't really planned. After me writing to them, that's the date that they gave me the page. So it's an international organization, and they are composed of mothers. So when I found out about the organization, I felt like I belong. So it's like mothers who are promoting awareness to marijuana. It's like something new to you. How, parents should like guide their kids not to take drugs,
I mean,
right?
from a layperson perspective, again, I mean, that's the last. If you were a parent, that's the last thing you would want to
give your child.
I mean, traditionally, marijuana, no.
Yeah. So the name was really interesting to me. So I sent them a letter and I asked them if they have a local chapter. So they said they don't have a local chapter. So I started one. When the advocacy took off, that was December of 2013. So the page, December of 2014. So there were questions. There's infighting in the international organization. So what happened was I tried to form another group which is not related to the international organization
Okay,
anymore.
okay.
And also to cater to more people, because we have more supporters, not just from mothers. We have parents, we have
Of
friends.
course. It's more
we have
inclusive now,
family.
no?
Yeah,
More
so we have the
inclusive.
Philippine Cannabis Compassion Society. So
Excellent.
we slowly transitioned into PCCS.
What is your role on the executive committee, Romeo?
Well, because I have a first-hand experience in relation to children having seizures because of my son.
Yes, yeah.
So I'm able to help in such a way that how can we further support other parents who's undergoing the same condition.
To open their minds to this possibility.
Right.
This is a modality that has benefits and could be helpful to them.
That's correct. But not only that, but even the way they do it on a daily basis. Like for example, children with special abilities obviously has different needs.
Okay.
So sometimes parents has nowhere to go to. So we share them our own experiences. When we're having this issue, this is what you're going to do. If they're having some fever, automatically some children, or most of the time, they will have seizures as well.
Yes.
So how we exchange our own stories. In fact, one of the most basic help that we provide to parents is that we simply hear them out. Hearing them out and giving them the opportunity to release that inner feeling,
Yes.
because it's really a burden.
Let's talk about your case. You have pictures of your son. Can you hold it up?
Oh, yes.
And then, okay, tell us a bit about the background of your son. You said he was born
Right.
with this condition, and how is he today?
Right. So this is my eight-year-old son Sachi. So he was diagnosed with infantile hemiplegia, global developmental delay in epilepsy, and cerebral palsy.
Right.
So the reason for that is he had an infantile stroke when he was inside his mother's womb.
Okay.
So because of that, his left brain literally, figuratively did not form.
Okay.
That's where the seizure is coming from.
Okay.
So in order for us to control the seizure, there's an anti-epileptic drugs that he's taking.
Yeah, and you said that he's taking 5 drugs already.
Right, that's correct.
I mean, and he's an 8-year-old boy,
Yeah.
and 5 powerful drugs. No?
Right. One of the drugs is actually an S2 drug, meaning you cannot just simply buy this particular drug
Wow.
over the counter. You need a special prescription in order for you to be able to buy it.
How bad are his seizures today? I mean, how serious does it get?
Right. In terms of the other children, Sachi's seizure is really more of the intensity.
Okay.
Before, it started with 5 seconds, then 10 seconds, and then there came a time that it was more than an hour. So it's what you call status epilepticus.
And I think we have another photo
Right.
here of Sachi.
Right. So this was Sachi when this was way back 2011. So he had the status epilepticus for more than an hour. And because of that, his oxygen level in his body is dropping to roughly around 85%.
Okay.
Meaning, he's no longer breathing. So that's why there's a respiratory machine helping him to breathe. And at the same time, he was throwing up a lot of fluids. Because at the time, the sugar level is abnormal. In short, the body is now panicking because of the seizure. Some of the organs are some sort of panicking as well.
Sure.
It will not be able to do its function.
Sure.
So the danger here is that if he's not breathing at the same time he's throwing up a lot of fluid, that fluid might go into the lungs, and the death might not be epilepsy, but it's really more of unable to breathe because of the fluid in the lungs.
Yeah. Now, I mean, what is your hope for marijuana? How do you think marijuana can help Sachi's case?
When I first saw PCCS, I just read it in a newspaper. And then I started reaching out through email. And that's the first time that I met Kimi through the email. And then the fan page. And then I started researching on my own because marijuana, I'll give it to my kid.
Yeah, I mean, it's the first thing.
It's
It's it's diametrically opposed almost.
Right.
No?
So when I started researching, so many articles and even videos and documentaries about medical cannabis for children with seizure. So when I saw it, I was like amazed and like, whoa, there's hope. Because the pain that we're undergoing through every day, I cannot describe it. We're like in a virtual prison.
And you feel helpless, powerless, right? When you see I assume when you see your child going through a seizure like this,
Right.
that sense of the powerlessness, no? Very hard.
Can you imagine if you're at work and then at the same time your child is having an epilepsy at home?
Yeah.
There came a time that it's the barangay officials who rushed my child to the hospital.
Because you weren't around, because you were at work. For
Right.
sure.
Right. So those are the things that is immeasurable.
Yeah. Kimi, how successful has in your research and in the research done by the network all over the world, how successful is medical marijuana when it comes to treating cases like this, like Sachi's case?
Well, we have 100% positive feedback from the States. The most famous case is that of Charlotte Fiji, the one featured in the CNN documentary.
Okay.
So from 300 seizures to practically none right now. So she's living a normal life right now. If it weren't for cannabis, she probably wouldn't. I don't know what's going to happen to her. But basically, you might think it's a miracle cure. As a matter of fact, it is. So they did it there. So my point is, my personal advocacy is, why not have them try it here?
Sure. So, okay, what you're saying is that in the case of Sachi, this can be not just, apparently, not just a treatment for the effects, but it can also be a long-term solution to this problem.
Right. Because in order for the children to develop, you have to stop the seizure. Because every time there's a seizure happening, it destroys the neurons in the brain. And the learning becomes slower.
For sure.
And then if you drink the anti-epileptic drugs, even if you read their, the
Scary.
Yeah, I mean, the side effects is that they become slow. It even, I mean, you can be let's say you can be seizure-free, but how about the organ?
Now, Romeo, you haven't given Sachi any cannabis yet?
Not yet.
None yet?
None yet, right.
Okay. And you're waiting for what exactly?
Well, we're waiting for the House Bill 4477.
Because we don't want to put anyone at risk.
Right.
Yeah, but you are aware that it could take a long time before something like this does pass,
That's
if
correct.
it even does pass.
Right, but we are hoping, because hope is the only thing that we have
Yes,
for our
yes.
children. Because
Yes.
you have, as a parent, you have to do anything for your child
For
in
sure,
order
for
for them
sure.
to be with you, right?
For sure.
That's actually what led me to the advocacy, because I am a mom and my kids are fine. And I see them talking about, I see their kids having seizures. I mean, as a parent myself, how do they feel during that time? And I know some information that could probably help them. So I give them the information and I empower them. You know, it happened somewhere. It happened in the States. It's happening in Israel. It's happening in other countries. This might be our hope right now.
But Romeo, you haven't considered maybe sourcing it, locally, this stuff, and trying it? I mean,
One of the things that, one, aside from the prohibition,
yeah.
you don't know where the source is in terms of the quality.
Yes.
And I don't know how is it gonna impact my child?
Sure,
Because
sure.
we need research as well.
Right.
So that's why the
And-
House
and
Bill
this
44
House Bill actually forms a framework, or builds a framework for all this type of regulation to make it really well thought of and really
Yes.
Based on scientific study and all that. No.
That's right.
Research and the distribution, basically. The research, the manufacturing and distribution, and the control, of course.
Very nice, very nice, very nice. Well, I hope that it does pass soon, and because based on our your observations from other cases all over the world, it does seem to have a very good effect
Yeah,
on
it does.
on kids with this condition and other conditions, which we're going to talk about in a while. Now, I understand that finally, before we pause for our break, that you had guests from Thailand and I think Malaysia who were here over the weekend.
Yeah, Thailand and Malaysia. So you'd be surprised at the enthusiasm of these people coming from those areas who have very strict laws in terms of
course,
drugs,
geez, yeah,
right?
yeah.
I know. So these are
It's a death sentence in some countries. no?
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
So I was surprised at like what I said, I was surprised at their enthusiasm to really lead the advocacy there. So, and they're looking at us, they're looking up to us here in the Philippines, because according to them, they didn't expect for things to happen that fast, because we were just formed 2 years ago and now we have the bill. We're still
Yes.
lobbying to have the bill approved.
Well, when you look at it from their perspective, we probably have a better chance of passing this than they do.
I
For
hope
instance,
so.
Malaysia
Right.
is very strict, with marijuana. I mean, people have been hung,
Right.
executed in Malaysia for possession. That is a fact, it's on record.
Right.
Okay, very good. Anyway, when we come back for a third and final segment, we'll talk about other treatments, other illnesses that can be treated with medical marijuana, and we'll also talk about your plans and programs for the future going into 2015 and 2016. All right. So guys, stay tuned for more of medical marijuana when Philippines Uncut returns. Nice.
After